Hey guys, I am so excited about what I'm seeing inside the challenge, and I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about how you may be feeling in your job search. It is completely and totally natural to feel frustrated or anxious or angry or even maybe depressed or hopeless during this time. But I want to make sure that you have the tools and resources that you need to be successful. I have been where you are, and not that long ago. If you don't know my story, back in April, I was impacted by a COVID layoff, just like many of you were. And I was sitting across a Zoom call from my managers who were a little bit more emotional even than I was, because I knew that God had a plan for my life. See, the week before, God had kind of prompted me that don't worry, if you get hit in a layoff, no worries, you're going to have an extra month of income. And I thought it was the most random thought ever. And so I continued on working, picked up the phone, called one of my recruiter friends who was a Christian and said, this happened. And he said, Andy, don't worry, everybody loves you. Your job is fine. Turns out the very next Monday, I was hit in that layoff that I was prompted about. And what I noticed in that, the very first thing that I experienced when I realized I was about to be laid off was that voice in my head of, don't worry, everything is okay. If you get hit in this layoff, you're going to have an extra month of income. So I make it through the call. I don't get emotional because I don't really do human emotions very well. And right after the call, about 15 minutes later, I get the verse of the day. So if you don't have the verse of the day text, it means a lot to me. I highly recommend it. You can text the word verse to 50700. Again, text the word verse to 50700. And I got the verse of the day text on April 13th that said, you, Lord, give true peace to those who depend on you because they trust you. And I was sitting there at my desk in my home office saying, God, I trust you. And I felt him say, do you really trust me? And I was like, God, I trust you. And he said, do you really trust me? And he drew my attention up on the wall where I had all these Post-it notes about staying focused on work because ministry was enabled by my work. So I knew I was supposed to help people, but I thought the way to get to be able to minister to people was to have this financial security that my job offered. I trusted Matrix as my source, even though God was asking me to completely and totally turn my dependency onto him for my finances, for my career path, for my fulfillment. He was asking me, he was calling me out of my comfort zone into my Nineveh, which for me was ministry. And I kept saying, God, please don't call me into ministry. I'll go anywhere. Please don't call me to go back into financial poverty where I had raised my son for so long as an educator. So what I will tell you is, I spent day one giving myself permission to just feel. I didn't want to make an emotionally driven decision or to walk into my next opportunity with the baggage of being hurt. Even though I understood the business side of the layoff, I still was mourning the loss of my work family and the loss of part of my identity because who I was tied to what I do. And so as I began to move forward with plans, it didn't happen on day one. And even day two, when I thought, okay, yesterday I allowed myself to have feelings, today let's plan. And that's not what happened either. God had a plan and a purpose, and he asked me to fast and pray that day, and I did. And on April 15th, 2 days after being hit in a layoff, I started the company, Maximize Your Job Search, which started out giving away free resumes to people who were impacted by COVID, doing a pay what you can basis. And then from that, a business grew. So I want you to know God has a plan for you, and his plan is perfect. And I can't emphasize that enough. I used to think that meant that his plan was perfect, like without flaw. And I still think it means that, but I want us to focus on his plan is perfect. It is complete and whole. He has not called you to do something and forgotten about the important things in life. He didn't call me to ministry, but forget I have a house payment. He didn't call me to help people, but forget that my son needs to eat food. And so his plan was perfect for me. It was not flawed. It was not partial. It wasn't, well, I'm going to take care of this, but you're on your own for the rest. So please, please, please give yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling, to process through that, spend some time fasting and praying and deciding not what do you want to do with this next chapter, but what does God have in store for your life. I hope that this message helps you. I can't wait to see the results as you go through this challenge with me. Talk to you soon. Bye.